Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures, Season 2, Episode 1, by the way. It is great to be back, and I'm back with a great guest. I'm very excited to talk to this man. You guys know him in the chats, but recently he's made his rounds over on the Mega Powers podcast, the 3POA, and It's Chad. We'll never forget that young man. And just as recently, he's got his own show that rotates on his channel, Zakanin, or JMK Custom Works, and Just Jeff with Figure It Out, Thursdays at 9 Central Time. Please welcome to the show. You guys know him as Zakanin, but I simply refer to him as Muscles Marinara, one and only. Zakanin, what's up, bud?
What's up, brother? Or the albino cobra.
The albino cobra. You've adopted quite the many nicknames now in your journey.
You're coming up with them. I'm not adopting shit. Oh, as I use profanity, right? When you start this,
it's all good, bud. I throw that rule book out the window.
Oh, okay, cool.
I curse more than everybody, so you never have to worry about that on this show. I don't give a shit. It's good to see. I'm excited to talk to you. We've never had a real one-on-one like this, where we just talk like a little bit of toys and then life, obviously. So I'm excited to do this with you. I've done it with quite a few of the toy community so far, and I'm excited to jump back into this part of the realm. Getting to know guys and shit like that. So I'm happy to start with you because I met you at Terrific Con.
Yep.
Didn't expect to bond with you guys so quickly, then that being you and Roll Keeper. But I'm glad to say that we did. So there's some questions that I never really got to with you, and I'm glad that we can do it today.
And you wouldn't shut up about wrestling. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to keep going.
I can tell you how many times I have to apologize to people now.
You don't have to apologize to me. I kept let's talk about wrestling. Dude, so that's where I think the surprise came for me. Besides the bonding, right? Yeah. Was just like how well everything. It's like, we've been talking in chats, obviously, but then we met, and then it was just like the friendship didn't start, but it was kind of cemented, if that makes sense.
Hell yeah. No, I agree with that. Because it was almost like I felt like I know this guy forever. The way you're just hanging out after the con, because usually when I go to conventions, as soon as I'm done, I'm home. Like I'm in the car on my way home. So to make a bond with someone like that and then to go hang out with them, like I said, you, Woody, Roll Keeper, now you guys are my family now. So to me, I'm excited to get into these questions. Like I said, like you said, we had a lot of wrestling talk that day.
Sure, because we were passionate about it, man. And I mean, you have all the behind the scenes stuff that I was like, man, tell me about your experience.
That's what Woody said to me yesterday. We was on a thing, and Woody was like, "Tony, I don't give a shit when you talk about it." He goes, "I like you go to all the behind the scenes stuff. You know your shit." And I'm like, "Thank you, man. I appreciate that." So it's like to hear that kind of stuff, because like I said, if I could tell you how many times I've had to apologize to people because I fired off into a wrestling rant and people were just couldn't give two shits, and I literally bored them out of the room, and I'm like, sorry, man, my bad. You got me fired off, man. You fired me off down the road, and we didn't expect it to go there, but we got there.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I mean, for that promo to be cut I'm doing it again. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Let's start right at the top, brother.
Okay.
When did you start collecting, and what was the line that got you into collecting?
God, man, I did I joked before where I was like, I studied up on all the previous, talking figures. I'm like, okay, I know the questions he's going to ask. And then I didn't have answers. And I know the questions, and I'm like, shit, I don't know. I've always collected.
Okay, so it's been there forever.
I've been there forever, but I mean, I didn't go crazy with it until 2021 COVID, like a lot of people did, because of my wife was like, hey, why don't you you've been having a rough time, I'll throw more out there that you know about. Was like my dad passed in 2021.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting the coof in 2021, which that wasn't that bad. It was just like fatigue.
Yeah.
The double pneumonia almost took me out. And if it wasn't for my wife, I love my wife. I wouldn't be here. I would be dead. And then it was like 2 months after that is all 2021. Then it was a stroke. And after the stroke happened, full recovery. That's a whole tale in itself.
Oh yeah.
She was like, you're not doing anything creative at that point. Like I've always been doing something creative, whatever outlet that needs to be. And she's like, why don't you like maybe get back into collecting? And think I think it's almost kind of like you. It was like G.I. Joe Classified.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, these are cool.
Yeah.
6-inch versions of this. This is like the Toy Biz, Marvel Legends stuff at the time is the only thing I had an allegory to.
Okay.
And that really got me into it. But in the beginning, it was just I always had toys. So I don't know if that was collecting, but I mean, throughout my life, I'd always had them. My parents
in there, huh?
Yeah, they always have. I mean, you Tinker Toys and Legos and sticks and stones, man. I'm from the Stone Ages, brother. You're like, man, this is a great rock.
Yeah, I see. Here's the thing. I didn't always consider myself a collector. Like I always played with them, always took them out, and I always thought when you were a collector, it meant like in box on the shelf, don't touch.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, they're not gonna like retain their value or anything like that. It wasn't until, like you said, around the same time, 2020, 2021, when I start like discovering Marvel Legends and the 6-inch line of figures, where I'm like, wait a minute, you could take these things out and not only just put them on the shelf, but you could take pictures with them, and that's all considered okay in collecting. And my buddy was like, yeah, nobody's gonna judge you, and I'm like, I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah, off to the races, man. So G.I. Joe Classified was the line. That was the line that got you. Like,
that's the one. Like throughout, like I said, people. Yeah, my wife knows I love toys. She, Christmas, my birthday or something, she'd get me something. She would go out shopping, and I remember a Gundam. Was it Gundam Fighter? I'm terrible. I love Gundam, the cartoons. Lore, I don't know shit.
I'm the same way.
But she'd go to the store, and she'd like, well, do you want anything picked up at the store? I'm like, yeah, a robot and a hooker, or a robot hooker. And I remember one day, because I said, I mean, that was just my shtick. And she came back with a Gundam.
Yeah.
That was a female Gundam. She's like, I found this. I'm like, well, I love you all over again. Cool.
Listen, babe, the grocery store was plumb out of hookers, so I got you this robot.
But yeah, man, she would do that. She'd get me the stuff. I mean, a Hobgoblin. There was a Marvel Legends Hobgoblin.
That's great. That's a great figure, Hobgoblin.
That she got me. And because she knows I love Hobgoblin. That's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I've got him over my shoulder. One of them. I've got them everywhere. I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh shit, I got some over here. But she's picking up stuff like that. But yeah, then it was, wow, this Classified. This is cool, man. And I've got all my 3 3/4 Joes, my originals.
Okay.
I don't have any of the vehicles. They were just gone, and it bugs me.
Yeah.
Some move somewhere, because I've got shit from. I mean, when I was a wee little lad, I wasn't much,
You loved G.I. Joe ever since you was a kid. So that's like a nostalgia thing that goes back. And when you saw them at a 6-inch line, you was like, oh yeah, that's what I've been looking for.
Nostalgia just, got me into it, because I mean, I'd always loved G.I. Joe. Well, now I had this highly detailed G.I. Joe. I mean, my first G.I. Joe was my uncle's giving me, the original, 1/6 scale Joes.
Yeah. What got you into Marvel? Because I noticed with you on your whether it's on your Instagram or on your YouTube, it's always a plethora of action figures now. It's not just G.I. Joe. So what happened? G.I. Joe was the catalyst, and then when you started going to, whether it was websites or stores, you started going, oh shit, Marvel's like this too? Is that how it happened?
Well, I'd known about Marvel, right? Because again, I mean, throughout, I'd still get pieces here and there.
Okay, so you like Toy Biz, that's what you said about Toy Biz.
Yeah, Toy Biz, and then eventually the first Marvel Legends, I have I looked at them now. I was like, I can't wait to get these out. And then I'm looking at my Punisher, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, I love the Hulk. Let me get my Hulk out. Oh, fuck, this Hulk is not good. Just from the level of technology, paint apps and everything. But I mean, I appreciate them. I've got them.
But like, when you look at the newer ones, you're like, God damn, these are piles.
Yeah, and now there's this curve, right? Because then as you get into collecting and you get something else from like another toy company, or even the same toy company, like I'm seeing Marvel Legends where I'm like, this isn't good. Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
The new Venom, I haven't got it yet. It's coming on BBTS, and I wish to Odin that I hadn't have bought it. Well, because then I'm seeing here, like, they took out the waist articulation.
Which Venom is this?
This is Agent Venom, Flash
Oh, so
Thompson, Agent Venom.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have him.
There's no waist swivel.
Really?
There's nothing at the waist. There's no ball joint. There's no nothing.
Wow. Okay, that might.
And I'm like, why would you possibly have done that?
Yeah, that makes no sense to take away the articulation like that. Well,
so there's stuff like that where you're collecting, and then you start becoming like a connoisseur a little bit.
You start to
and
know.
It's like, hey, and again, bang for your buck. You're like, hey, man, this actually is costing more than what I was paying here a couple of years ago, and I'm losing stuff.
Oh yeah, no, fuck you. That was one thing I noticed about certain figures on that, like where you get it, and I would notice almost immediately, like, well, how come this has it and this one doesn't?
Yeah.
What's going on here? And then I hear when someone told me, like, I noticed that a lot about McFarlane. I was the big guy with the McFarlane's. Like, why does one figure have a thigh swivel and the other doesn't? Somebody said, well, that figure's meant to go on a motorcycle or a horse. And I'm like, well, then how come all of them can't? That's what I'm like. Why, if you're gonna do one for one, it should be across the board. So if every figure, especially has waist articulation of all things, why would you take that away? That's the most basic of the articulation. Yeah, for real. That's crazy, especially a Spider-Man figure. I don't give a fuck who it is. From Venom all the way down, it doesn't matter. They should have the most articulation. And do you listen? I don't want to jump ahead here, but since we're here right now, do you think that maybe they're going to start taking some articulation away from those figures so that they can get us all to spend money on that stupid maximum line?
I mean,
would that not be like something
we're seeing it? I mean, we just saw it with this figure. It's like, well, why did you do this?
Yeah, that's what worries me.
Yeah, it's worrying. Well, because we're seeing things where, hey, listen, I'm not in charge of a toy company or anything, right? I am in sales, though. I do sell things.
Yeah.
If I'm going to sell someone a product, I'm not going to sell someone an inferior product, releasing a better product going, well, I know I lost trust with you here, but obviously you'll want this. This will fix those issues. I mean, that's a hard sell.
For real, dude. And that's what I'm worried about, because I'm like, I noticed that WWE has that thing. They have their basic version, which has like little to no articulation, elites, which would have your basic, and then the ultimates, which have a little bit more stuff with arms, hands, and all that other shit.
Yep.
I'm worried that Hasbro will start to adopt that, and you'll get like Marvel Legends will have like less on the articulation because it's going to be for kids, and then the maximum line is going to be for the adults, which is going to have all that articulation that you want. And we're going to be forced, because we're adult collectors, to pay $50, $60 a figure instead of $20. Because if you pay $25 for a Marvel Legends, well, it's $25. This is the articulation you get. This, that's what it is, because now we have the maximum line. That's what worries me, if that Spider-Man sells out.
Well, here's what worries me is we're trying to use logic and reason, right?
Yeah.
We're dealing with not just like a couple of us bullshitting, right? We're talking about a corporation, a Hydra, right? Where it's a trickle down theory. And then as we really get into the weeds of finding out who's in these companies and who gets hired on, you're like, you don't know anything about toys.
Yeah.
Why'd they just hire you? And then you see in production and sales, marketing, everybody has this different idea of what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah.
And then the toy suffers.
For real. And I'm worried about that. And they're like, I know Chad brought up something very important, that announcement that they're going to be focusing on video games. They're going to take a step back.
Yep.
You better be careful. Like, here's my thing, and maybe you're in the same boat, and this will segue right into my next question. That's another nickname I gave you, by the way. Segue. I already have what I need from them. So if shit starts to suck, I'm at least like, well, I got my Wolverines, my Spider-Man. I'm good. I don't really give a fuck if it starts to suck now, right? Yep. That being said, out of your entire collection, if there was a fire, and like, let's say the wife, the animals, they're all safe, and there's enough time to go in there to save one piece, your Grail piece.
Yeah.
What are you running in there and grabbing? Is it the Robo Skull?
Okay. And I knew this was coming. And this is also tough, right? So then I thought, I've seen people cheat. I'll cheat, because this is part of my collection. And it's a rock. I joked about rocks earlier. Segue. Or is that a callback? I don't know. My wife, this was the first gift that she ever got me.
Right on.
Right?
Okay.
Was this rock. And it's an Apache tier. I forget the science term, whatever, but it's translucent. You can see through it. You know, it's opaque, translucent, whatever.
Yeah.
You can see through the son of a bitch when you hold light up to it. This is my literally touchstone. Like, this is where if I'm nervous or if I'm happy or if I'm sad, whatever, I've got this rock. And I've almost lost it a couple times. So this thing just means the world. Avi, shout out to Figure Fight Club. He was sitting there when he was talking to me, and he's like, I can't remember if it was in chat because that's where I started losing it. It was like, was I on talking to him or was it in chat? I don't know. But he's like, do you just have that in your pocket? I'm like, well, yeah. It's like I don't have it in a case somewhere on a chain or whatever. It's just always here.
I'm the same way. My wife got me a stone that said love. And when I first started talking figures, I don't know if you ever noticed it. I'm always sitting here like this. And now it was that stone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was that stone. And it got me through so many of the first episodes because it was like my introduction into this community or into this toy space.
Yeah.
So I was meeting people for the very first time. And I was like, with the social anxiety and shit, I thought these people were going to be the worst. I thought people were going to treat me like shit, or just the conversation wouldn't go nowhere. It would just kind of like, we would just be staring at each other at points. It'd be a lot of dead air. So she got me like that as just like a rubbing stone. And she was just like, hold it just so you have something to fidget with and it'll take your mind. And son of a bitch, did it work.
Yeah.
Because I got through all those episodes and now I don't really need the stone no more, but I have the stone.
Yeah.
And if anything ever happened, it'd be one of the first things I grab because it was a gift from her and it got me through the social anxiety. So it has more of like a connection to me now because it helped me get over one of the hardest humps to get over.
Yeah.
Because of that stone, I was able to get over it. So that to me, like, dude, that's a great fucking thing to save. Like a lot of people.
If I go toy, right? If I'm not going to be an ass and I go with toys, which is tough. My answer over the years has always been, well, when I got that first HasLab Sentinel.
Okay.
I got a couple of them. I got 3 of them. But if I was like, that was my boy. Like, I need to grab that Sentinel. And I'm like, man, I've never had adulthood wonder like this Robo Skull.
Yeah.
I'm like, would I grab that? Because it's a recency thing. I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, there's my G1 Soundwave, that I've got over my shoulder. And I'm like, man, that's good. Well, then there's Buns McBoom Boom. And all those things have what would be like irreplaceable, right? And I'm like, well, they're all replaceable. I mean, they're toys.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
it would probably be, and I'll say this. I love that Robo Skull. It is the most metal toy I've ever received. But that said, I'd probably get another one of those.
Yeah.
I could probably get another Sentinel, but man, I love Sentinels.
That's awesome shirt too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love me some Sentinels. I think my answer right now is, and it's still not new. It's not from my childhood, but if I started my collection over again, I love that thing, man. I love that. It's still packed away. I still haven't got it out yet. But yeah, I do. I love that thing. I could work that into shots. I can work that into my, my new studio if I had to recreate everything.
Hell yeah. You have 3 of them, you said?
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
I got one on eBay and I had a local toy store. And then they had one. And it was the owners, he bought 5 of them.
Oh shit.
So he could start releasing them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, how much do you want for that? And he actually gave me a good price. Like, well, son of a bitch. Let me ask my wife.
See what
she was okay with it.
I would do with that thing because I only have one. So let's say I was to, I won't buy them because I don't like that they don't have as much articulation. The 97 ones that they're coming out with, I don't like them. But if I did, the Sentinel that I would have would definitely just be like, if I had like a display, would be Master Mold. That was the one reason that I bought that Sentinel because it had all the different heads.
Yeah.
And my buddy has one, and my other friend has one. So I always thought, well, all right, at least I can have one as Master Mold. So that's why I bought it in my 2. So I can just have it with the 3 of them, same kind of game plan as you.
Yeah.
This is one thing I've been telling people recently, and the reason I've been slowing back, apart from losing space and like and money, obviously, um, is like I'm seeing new toys and I'm not seeing the same I don't want to say creativity, but like like the images in my head aren't there no more when I see some of these new action figures like they used to be. Like just recently, yesterday, I finally got it back with the GI Joe releases. Like I was like, oh shit, I saw the buggy, and I was like,
Which
okay,
me, I have no compulsion to get that Ostriker.
no, but that's the thing, I don't care.
Yeah.
But like I say, oh okay, if I see it and it's price range, I'll buy it because I saw something in my head where I could take a picture. That's
Oh,
where
I
I
see what
am.
you're saying.
So when I see it now, like I'm not like, oh, I need that Awe Striker. That's got to complete like the GI Joe set. I'm like, if I don't see it in an image, like I'm not
Like
really
with
into
you with like picking up a shredder or picking up a Foot Clan for a
exactly.
dojo shot. You're like, oh, I know what I need this
And
for.
let me tell you, I picked up a few Foot Clans and I was like, nah, and put them back because I didn't see it. I
Yeah.
saw it with the red ninja from GI Joe. I don't know what number it was, but the classified ninja. The very
Even
first
the
one.
blue ninjas
Yeah.
on,
Once I
well,
saw the red one, this guy was selling 5 of them at the Newburgh Toy Show. I picked up one and I immediately was like, "Yep, yep, I have 2 of those." And I was like, "Okay, these are the ninjas I think of the Foot Clan." And I was like, "I have an idea for these." So that's when I buy. If I don't see the image in my head,
yep.
it's literally as crazy as it's just a toy to me. And it's like, "Nah," and I'll put it down. And my impulse, and here's the thing, got scary because it was like a year ago. It was different. Yeah, I got caught up in that FOMO. I don't know if you did, but I was seeing everybody on this YouTube shit buying new toys, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta get it. This guy got it. I gotta get it.
I'll show you one right now.
What was this one? Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't want these figures.
Those
I
are
like
what?
Rob Liefeld. He's
Yeah,
a
Rob
legend and everything. And I'm like, well, maybe I could use Cabot as Cable.
Yeah,
Love Cable. Um, I'm looking at all the stuff like I've got in front of me. I've got a Cable over here. But I'm like, I don't see, I mean, Loose Collector at that price point. I love Loose Collector, and I know they're a higher price point. I've got Loose Collector all over this place. But I was like, I don't see it. But then FOMO, like you're talking about, everyone was raving about these 2 toys. I'm like, well, crap. Maybe I ought to get them.
they almost
That's
got me.
not how I should be buying stuff,
No,
man.
no. I think I came out of it. I forgot what it was. It was like towards the end of the year, and I noticed everybody was showing it off, and I was just like, nah, and I was just, I can't keep doing that. And then it started, I just kind of came out of it. And I was like, oh shit, that's what it was. This whole time, all these, like, there's certain things I'll look around and I'll be like, what the fuck did you get that? And it was just because, like, oh, I have to have it before somebody else gets it. And I was just like, don't, don't, don't let that dictate your wallet. Because
Yeah.
you'll be broke every fucking day. Like, don't do that. Because, like, buddy, I'm finally just now getting caught up on pre-orders because of that wave of FOMO that hit me, and I saw
Yeah.
everybody just buying pre-orders. I was like, I gotta have these before they're gone forever. Not realizing that these fuck faces at some point will either re-release or you'll just find it at a toy show where somebody doesn't need it anymore and they're selling their collection, and you'll luck out and it'll be your turn to have it. Don't be the guy who has to have it before everybody else. Just be happy that you might have it in time. That's kind of where I've gotten myself to, because if I didn't, it was getting bad, but like I just could not stop spending, and I was like, I can't do this no more. The vehicles is where it did it, by the way. It was vehicles.
Space. You want to talk about space being the enemy of the collector, man. Holy cow. So many vehicles. And then, well, again, Ramen Racer. I've got the Tiger Orange. I've got the Inferno. I've got just I think, Black Beauty, like the standard one. Love them. They're great. And then Ace is like, here's the new one. I'm like, oh, man. Well, now the Inferno, now the engine itself is translucent. I'm a mark for translucent. 100%. So I'm like, oh, and the interior, instead of being that peanut butter brown, well, now it's black.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, I just need one.
Yeah.
Give me just one more.
Jesus Christ, dude. The
By the
only thing
way, I'm saying this, Tony. I'm going to do it.
they definitely did it. They definitely did it. The only thing I wanted was the van. I like the
That
one,
van.
right? But even like it was, I think it was that car that when it was the HasLab one. They
Oh,
tried
yeah,
to
the
get
engine of
everybody.
vengeance.
Yeah, the engine of vengeance, and I was like, you're not getting me with that one. And then I started to realize that everybody was like, no, and I'm like, okay. And then like everybody's just buying up GI Joe vehicles, and that's what kind of swept me up. Was oh fuck, look at this cool hiss, look at this goddamn helicopter, look at that plane, right?
Yep.
And then it was the plane was the last straw. I don't want to sound. I don't want to be one of those guys that gets on the patches because I didn't really care. Because I
Oh,
was,
on the Rattler. I was
yeah,
thinking
'cause
Skytrack.
I
Yeah,
was
the
of the
Rattler. They're still going to release.
I
Yeah.
was of the belief that we were going to get that thing regardless. That thing was going to get funded. It didn't matter because people just wanted the plane anyway, right? Who gives a shit, right? So, but it was in that moment I was like, man, they don't give a fuck about us.
They don't.
I was like, they just like because like all the money we spend, people buy like 10 of these at a clip, because even if they just want it for themselves or they're selling it, whatever the fuck the case may be, the people are clamoring for it, and all you offered was patches. And I always had the joke where I'm like, they had to be in the boardroom going, we're going to offer these dick faces patches, and everybody's going to be okay with it because they have no choice. And it's just we're going to laugh all the way to the bank. And it was in that moment where I'm like, I can't get caught up in this. Oh, if you don't get it, you won't ever get it because it's like fuck you. And I don't know how many times you've gone to cons and you've seen these things on shelves, things that
Well,
they
these
said,
are new, man. So they have the whole Toy Con thing. I never went to a
oh,
Toy Con
buddy,
until DFW
yeah.
last year.
Well, that was the thing. Newburgh Toy Show. That's
I'd
like
really like to go to that.
I went, right? And I couldn't believe the things I was seeing there. I just thought it was going to be old people's just garbage they were trying to sell off that they didn't want. But I'm going there and I'm seeing like the Sentinel, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, they actually, and I never saw this many wrestling figures in my life. Like the amount of new
Yeah.
ringside collectibles, exclusives on the tables. I was blown away by it. I was like, oh, we got to go to more of these. That's why I said to my wife. And then we went to ZoloCon, and that's when it started to dawn on me, like, oh man, if you don't get it somewhere, these people are gonna have it. You might have to pay like $100 extra or $50 extra, whatever it is. You
Yep.
might have to talk them down and haggle and shit. But
Oh yeah, haggle.
if you want a Sentinel, like I don't know how many times I've seen Galactus or the Hiss or the Dragonfly now at places where I'm just like, you know, if you don't get it, you'll see it there. You just got to
Yeah.
be patient, and if you're willing to spend a little extra, if you really want it that bad, you'll come home with it at some point. I'm not getting caught up in the I gotta have it now before it's too late.
Yeah.
I can't believe we all got fucked and you could see everybody got caught up in it. It was crazy how that wave hit us.
I agree with that. I mean, like, and I think I'm catching on to the whole not just the like FOMO. It was like I wasn't worried about missing out on those two Liefeld characters, but I'm like, well, everyone's raving about them. What am I not seeing? Well, what? I'm not a reviewer.
Yeah,
Why the hell do I care? Well, I know I'm going to talk about it on whatever show I end up on. If I end up on 3POA, they ask me about it, or
yeah,
we're doing our own show and figure it out. I'm like, okay, well, hey, guys, I got this thing.
yeah. That's
Do
one of
I
the,
do I want to be that guy?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I had to come out of it because I'm like, you came on to YouTube to do play motion and stop motion. This is a conversation I'm having with myself, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, you didn't come on here to review action figures, so why do you need them all? Why are you in a rush to buy them all? You don't. It's now. It's just you're trying to keep up with everybody.
Keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need it, dude. You don't need it. Just
I
focus
will
on.
say this. I just watched a video, and that's what kind of like got me into my mindset. Like, oh shit, this is maybe it's not exactly what I'm doing. Maybe it's not exactly FOMO, but it is part of this game that we're in. If we're streaming and we're in the collecting world, we're shout out to Laser Pants. Ryan was like, hey man, this is a really good video from Action Figuratorium. Another guy out there by him, and I think it's in Portland, Seattle, I don't know, out west. But he has a great video about how toy reviewers are a failing process or whatever. But he goes into how that works on. It's a great video.
Man,
But he goes into it and he talks about all the FOMO and then trying to keep up and doing this. And he actually cut us a video. Then I remember watching it on 3POA where Sal was talking to Ryan. And he's like, I need to get out of this. He goes, I'm going to the grocery store picking up figures while I'm buying groceries, but I needed to eat. I'm like, I don't need this action figure. I really need to buy food. But he had that. I need to get this for the job. I need to get this for the show.
For the show, dude. That happened. I'm glad you said that because a lot of that it got tied to the pre-roll because I had unboxings. And I'm like, oh, I gotta have stuff to open for the pre-roll. And then I don't know if it was my wife. She said, you don't have to open stuff on the pre-roll.
Yep.
And I looked at her and it was just like, what? Like, no, I don't. And then I remember back to the first episodes where I was working on stuff.
Dioramas.
Yeah, I wasn't even opening shit. I was like, so when did that become like? And I'm like, okay, so
when did that happen? Because I remember you started doing unboxings, and I don't know.
Started to happen all of a sudden. I just like, oh, now I got to open this for the pre-roll. But now what I do is, if I get any pre-order, I just hold it for the pre-roll. That became the thing. When she said you don't have to open stuff, because I was going to the store to find shit to open for the pre-roll.
Yeah,
and she was like, you don't have to open things. You could just do the pre-roll. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, when things come, open them. If not, don't go run out to buy you. You're spending money that we need. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you're right. We are. And I can't do that shit no more. And I kind of nipped that shit in the butt, but it was happening. I saw it like that exact mindset where I'm like, oh shit, you got to have stuff because, oh, I have to have something to open on the show so I can have something to talk about. But it's like, I think sometimes the best episodes of the pre-roll when I go in with no game plan. And they came out the best, which was when I had a stack of action figures thinking that opening action figures was going to be this most interesting thing of the day. And it wasn't. I didn't want to be even opening half the fucking pile that I had because nobody gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things.
Well, they care, but that's not what the show is.
No, right? What I mean by they don't give a fuck, man, I meant like, oh, fuck this show. I mean, like, you didn't have to open the toy.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cared. 100%. Like, you could have just talked, that was just something that you were doing for your own mindset. So that was one of those things that kind of dawned on me when she said you don't need toys for the pre-roll, or at least to open them. And I'm like, okay, you're right. And that's became like I said, it's like a bunch of chain of events that started to reel me in on this FOMO shit where you're like, you don't have to be number one. You just get what you get and be happy that you got it and just kind of share the knowledge that you have with what you do. The channel was play motion and diorama making. Yeah. It was never meant to be, oh, look, I got this toy first. Let me talk with it. It was never that. So it's like, I'm back to that now. Here we are like a year into doing it. It's fucking February 2nd.
I know. The year's already go, buddy. It's already February.
I know. So where the fuck is it going? And my mindset is back to where it's like, all right, play motion, stop motion. Let's get back into the stuff that you loved. Because that was my favorite.
I'll tell you what, here, it's what you love because it's passionate, because whatever we're doing that we're finding out in streaming isn't about what we're doing. The gateway to people find you is, oh, this guy talks about dioramas. Oh, this guy talks about action figures. This guy's doing pop culture.
Man,
it's you.
That's what happens.
That's what people are coming back to check out. It's not anything else. Everything else is just frosting, man.
But that's what happened. I started to realize that because you start to get, once the thing came off, once Ninja was like, yo, this guy is on the come up, and he was referring to me, and all these people started to say, like, to watch, like they listened to him and they watched. And then, you start to see your comment section blow up, and you're starting to go, oh, they're actually listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're actually paying attention to what I'm saying. Whereas back in the day, I'm thinking no one's going to fucking care or no one's going to listen.
Yeah.
Once they start to learn your personality and they start to kind of, whether they resonate with it or like they connect to it, it feels great, and so that's what I'm saying. I can understand where you start to go, I have to have stuff for the show because I want to make sure my people are entertained. I don't want them to get bored with me. So I always understand now why people kind of get caught up in it. So I never judge because I got caught up into it. It happened to me. So, but like you said, and I say this to now everybody that I talk to when they say they want to get into this kind of stuff, I said, just have a good personality.
Yeah.
Just be personable. Just be cool, man. And if you ever, like, the one thing I noticed too is when you're out in public, whether it's a toy show or some shit, and someone notices you, be cool, man, because that's the person that they see on the streams and shit. So they want to see that person all the time.
Authenticity.
And I please, by God, anybody's watching this, don't think that I think I'm some kind of celebrity and that's, oh, yeah, I'm going to be cool. I'm just, what I'm saying is that when you connect to somebody, even if it's one person on the internet, they want to know that person that they connected to. So like that's why I always warn people. Like remember when I told you at Terrificon, man, I'm just letting you know that I'm not, Tony Voices. I'm not going to be sitting here being, oh hey, check me. Like I'm very quiet. I'm very very mellow because I'm
Well,
like,
until we start talking about wrestling, you get fired up, and then I see, oh, it's that guy.
oh, but dude, I had to start a wrestling show because of it. So,
well, this is me going, oh man, no, leave it in. I don't
yeah,
care. But yeah, it's what it's. So we talk about, as we're talking about what we want for the show and everything. Well, I mean, that's natural because I mean, you've been involved in entertainment,
yeah,
so you want the show, whatever you're doing, to evolve, right?
for sure. Yeah,
You want to make the show better. What do people want? So I mean, this is the whole guessing game, which I'm surprised as I've started streaming because I didn't want to stream at all, or I had no idea I wanted to, was the production stuff. I really like the production part of it.
yeah. And I always tell people like until you get like a computer, like you can go on StreamYard on your phone. Like I was kept telling Shane this, like, yeah, it's cool on your phone. It's easy. Yeah, boom, boom, I'm live. But like, and I told Savage Land this, until you sit in front of StreamYard and see all the capabilities that kind of take it to the next level. Like, dude,
Yep.
the ability to drop in a sound bite. Now, I know a lot of the times I get blocked because of stupid WWE. Like for instance, the Jericho one now keeps getting
Copyright strike? Oh, really?
not striked. They just block it. So they don't strike you. You don't get in
No.
trouble. They just that part of the video either you trim it or it's blocked.
Yeah.
So it's one of those annoying things. But it took the stream to the next level. Like I knew about this years ago, obviously, because in the video game streaming shit, they always had those dumb things. But until you start to kind of lay it out and do it for yourself and realize what it does for the stream, like all those silly drops with the Bigfoot guy and
Yeah.
all the ridiculous stuff that I drop in, it makes the show. I don't say like a variety show, but it opens it up. It's not like this. It's like to me like
It's spiced. It's entertainment. I mean, it's just one more layer.
it's making people laugh like characters, man. Like, dude, how many? If you would have sat here, buddy, and told me that somebody who watched this shit would go on to draw the character that I just did memories for, I would never ever expect anybody to do that. But the fact that guy did that,
Dan Olton. Let's shout out Dan.
Not Danny, but it made me go like, wow, man, like they're listening. They're actually entertained by this silly shit that I do. Because at the time, buddy, if I could tell you how many times I would get off the stream and I'd tell my wife, I'm not just like a stone moron, right? And she goes, no. She goes, no, why would you say that? I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just sitting here going, sex noises for a robot voice. I go, that's not like
oh man, the Transformers episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so fucking funny.
I get nervous, I get nervous. And so I understand that the personality thing, it's a huge part of the channel now. I said to her, I was like, now they come through because they know me. And then that's what they expect. Oh, he's just, he's the funny pothead dude. Like I don't want to say like diminish it. I know everybody doesn't think that, but like to me,
you were trying to like,
like if you had
it.
Yeah, like that's what I've become, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because I want people to know that my channel is never like anything that you're gonna come to. It's gonna be either clickbaity or filled with drama, or I'm talking shit about somebody else, or even if it's like I'm not gonna ever say like everybody is entitled to their own opinion. It does not matter if you disagree with them; they're entitled to that opinion. So why am I gonna create a video telling everybody who will listen that guy is either an idiot, a moron, or wrong for thinking how or he or she thinks? I don't care. I say this all the time.
What we're doing. Like if like if we're talking, someone's asked me something, I'm going to give you my opinion about that person. Now, in a public space or making a video about it, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Like that's why I feel the same way. Like if you ask me about somebody, I won't lie.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you my honest take, but I'm not going to, like I said, deliberately make a video because I want people
drama farming.
Yeah. I'll never do that shit. I want people to come to my channel and laugh, leave and be like, yo, that he's funny. I'd come back for the laughter. I'm not coming back for the tea, as my wife says, get the tea, like I'm not like,
well,
I'm not about that, man.
I'll say this, and we'll do this in confidence, right?
Yeah.
And no names or anything. We're talking about drama and whatnot. And I mean, I'm saying this because if we have some of those people I reached out to, watch this. I want things to be taken out of context, so it's gonna be vague. But And I know that's not what they're doing. I know they're not drama farming, right? Hope they're not drama farming. I mean, if that's your game, hell man, go for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are. So I was like, I reached out and I'm like, this is today. And I'm like, do not, please God, if you think this is a negative aspect, this person, don't give him air to breathe. Don't talk to him. Let that go into obscurity. Let other, if people are going to find that person somewhere, great. Don't let it be through you.
Yeah.
It's the whole no press, like there's no bad press, right? I think is what this person does. And I'm like, and they not came after me, but they started commenting on my section. Guess what? I'm not talking about that anymore, man. I don't want anything to get out there. I don't want that negativity getting out there.
Buddy, I released a play motion and people said some shit that I see in chats all the time.
I will take them out if they talk shit about that Destro's office.
No, they were talking shit about the Rise of the Mutants, which is more near and dear to my heart. But again, I won't talk shit. I don't hold any ill will. It wasn't your bag. I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, and I always say this, I make the shit for me in the hopes that you like it. I don't make it for you. If I'm making it for you, then I'm nothing more than a performing monkey that you can just throw change at, and I'll just dance with cymbals.
P.T. Barnum, man, you cannot please everybody.
Yeah, the whole point of art is people make art because it resonates with them.
Yep, it's subjective to everybody else.
To you, then it resonates with you. If it doesn't, then it's not for you. But just because, and I say this, just because there's a comment section there, does not mean you have to say something. Just leave it blank. You didn't like it. Thumbs down.
Or
move on.
That commenter, Tony, isn't actually a real person, right? It's a bot, or it's somebody that literally said something horrible about it, right? This is stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And they don't mean it. They're just trying to get a reaction because they're drama farming. They want their comment to show up. And are they going to put it out there to the public? Maybe, oh, look at this reaction I got out of this guy.
Yeah. Speaking of art, by the way, since we're on this topic,
segue.
Now, since you started collecting action figures, have you gotten into the photography realm of things? And are you going to continue that? Do you enjoy doing that stuff? Is there play motion or stop motion in your future, or you?
I do. So stop motion. You want to talk about a hot topic here? People not knowing the timeline. Years later, when they watch this video, AI in 2025 was the jump. Like it was like, and I think it was Ninja. I'll say articulated Ninja too, just in case people get confused. But when he did, I think he had the first little animated action figure with AI, and I was like, what in the absolute F is this? This is cool shit.
Yeah.
And then everybody, Big Bad Toy Store had a promo. Just everyone, Mutant Action Figures. I forget one of these Instagrams that I follow. All these AIs of being able to animate your toys. Like, holy. Man. Now, stop motion, I don't have the patience for it. And that's an art form. 100%. Now people are like, oh, you're killing it off. You're doing this, you're doing that. I'm like, buddy, people still work on marble. Okay.
Yeah.
People still use hand tools for certain things. It is an art form. There will always be a niche for it. If you're thinking in the commercial aspect of it, man, you got to get over that because AI is here. The genie's out of the bottle. It's toothpaste. I
saw those videos, and they continue to come out. Like my big favorite ones now are the wrestling ones where the guys are coming down the entrance, like their entrance.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing. I don't want to cite anybody's if they don't want to, but I love those. I think they're great, and I don't like that you have to put specific prompts into the thing because I don't know how to do any of that shit. So I'm very bad with it. So to me, the only thing I want to use AI for is to make the mouths move because I've seen that done, and I love how that looks. I think that's awesome.
And that's what people are going to be doing. They're going to be taking that aspect. And so, you were asking me about it. Like, I love, I showed you like a picture of like a photography deal that I'm going to set up.
Yeah.
Am I going to like go hard into it, on the photography and make that my thing? No. Mm-hmm. I like when I do it though. When you have that passion for it, right? Yeah. I'm like, well, my channel, is it really about that? Well, no, here's what my channel, here's what my brand is, right? Mm-hmm. Is entertainment. And if I find something entertaining, like setting up a shot, I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I got a good idea in my head. Dragonfly with, I'm going to have my transformer in the back of it transforming, like things like that. Well, how I've reached out to you, I mean, these like lighting, like just little things like lighting makes those shots.
It takes
lighting
level,
is
like
everything.
I have this city behind me. My mother was down here like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, and she was like, "What is that?" And I just lit it up for her, and she was blown away by it. And I'm just like, "Yeah." And like the same, like I was telling this story yesterday, like Savage Land. We keep shouting people out. I don't want to be one of those who's name dropping. But Savage Land, when I did this episode with him, he was new to photography. He's like, I'm I don't know. And I said to him, just use these kind of light, the same exact light I recommended to you.
Love those things.
Yeah, and I say, dude, they're gonna take your shit to the next level because you're gonna put them in certain spots because they're not gonna be so bright. They're not gonna overpower the image. Because he was, if you blast it all with white light, it's just gonna be a flat image. No one's really gonna.
Yep.
He's not
gonna wash everything out.
Yeah, so I told him I was like, hit it with this. Add a little contrast. It makes it look like a cartoon. Makes it look like a comic book. Is what you're going for, right? And he goes, yeah. I was like, that's exactly what these things do. And they change. It's a game changer. But like I said, you're doing it as a hobby, right?
Yep.
Now,
exactly.
Are you going to use AI? Is that like, not to say that, listen, like you just said, and I said this on Ninja Stream when he was talking about this shit. I said, if you take a picture and decide that you want to run it through an AI generated thing to make it walk, talk, fly, whatever, that's your image. You do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like, that's not my place to tell you how dare you do better. Like, I saw some of those comments that he got and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, he took that picture. It's not like he said, generate me. Ryu turning. He didn't say that. That to me, I can say like, all right, that's a little much. He took the image. He ran it through this program. He prompted it and it did that. He was happy with it. He posted, he shared it. For you to tell him that it's not good, that's not your place. I feel. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. You don't like AI, don't like AI. But don't tell him that his work sucks because he took that picture. That picture was nice. Like Ryu, I assume that you're talking about the Ryu thing where he turns around and so I'm like,
with the Duarte Studios, I want to say Dio setup. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And Duarte's another one. He's a fantastic artist who I'm assuming
amazing
feels differently about AI because I know the artist really doesn't like it because they feel like you're taking the hardest part of or the aspect of the creation of the art away and making it as something so simple as just typing.
I don't think, man, Duarte and I have been talking a lot. I don't want to speak out for him. Although, shout out to my own channel. He's going to show up on my Rumblin and Ranting. We're just kind of BSing. I'm like, hey, you want to pop on a Monday show? Like, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
But I don't think he thinks like that about AI at all.
Good, because I think
it's another tool, man, and like the whole art thing, I've been using it, Tony, for like my static images.
Yeah, because I think he's in the same boat as the rest. Like even me, I'm like, listen, I use AI to generate backgrounds.
Yep.
Like if I need like a winter background or some shit like that, I just type it in real quick. I get it and I pop it in. I don't ever make it like the focal point of my artwork. It's a very small piece of it, and I assume Duarte is in the same guise of that. Like it's a small piece of a giant puzzle. So if you work it all together, it can help. It can be a very helpful.
Oh my God. Well, it's like you want to support local artists. And I'll say this. We're going to name drop. Quentin J. Bedwell. I was just talking to him. He had a really good conversation with Cato. Again, AI is really hot in 2025. Well, he was talking about what his art form, he's got a digital pen, right? He's using an art program. Well, man, I remember this, and he's right. He's dead on. People say, and they still say, well, that's not art. That's all digital. You should be doing this
on paper,
marble with a physical, pen or brush or whatever. So, I mean, there's all these people that will say that kind of crap, and F them. I really don't care.
Dude, I hate to break the news to everybody, but all this shit is here to stay. Like AI is here. Like my 4-year, how old is my nephew? I don't even know. He's in 2nd grade.
Yeah.
Right. He asked for his birthday a 3D printer.
Oh man, yeah.
4th graders are asking for 3D printers for their birthdays. It's not like what it used to be, where like,
oh my God. I mean, you're talking about the investment, the money it was.
It's not even this. It's like the kids now, their imagination is being put through computers. So as I say, AI is here, man, and they're becoming integrated with children very young. Where now, like He'll make whatever he wants now because he has a
Yep.
3D printer and he's learning how to code in second grade. He's
Yep.
learning how to model shit already. You know what I'm saying? It's here to stay. So just accept it. And,
Well, not just that, Tony, but a 3D printer. I mean, when you remember when they first came out, you probably like me. Oh yeah, you're like, oh my god. Well, that's like half of my salary. Well, holy. And now they're so affordable. Kids are like, can I get a 3D printer? And your parents are like, maybe I'll get them one.
Yeah, I'll get them one. Like my
They'll
brother,
get an entry level 3D printer.
Yeah, my brother's like, "Hey, we're gonna get him one. Just chip in. It's like $400." And I looked at him, I was like, "$400?" Because like when they first said it, I'm like, "A 3D printer? Isn't it like 1,500? Minimum?" And like, no, it's only $400. And I'm like,
brother, they used to be $8,000, $10,000.
Yeah,
I mean, just like big screen TVs when they first came out, right? Like projection and plasmas, and now it's like, I'm gonna get a 75-inch TV. It's gonna be about $600.
They haven't been around that long, and it's already that affordable. It's mind blowing where we are already with this kind of stuff. And I forgot who said it. It was on a stream when we were talking about AI, and someone turned around and goes, "It looks like this now. Just imagine what it's going to look like 2026."
Yes, 1 year.
Fast it's going to progress. It's just going to progress faster and faster and faster to a point where you're going to be able to take one single image and say, "I want this figure to do that," and get a full length movie.
Full-length movie.
One image that you took.
Yep.
And it's going to be crazy. Like, am I scared for most people? Like, yes. Like, if you're in of the guys where like you got to draw it and you got to do it all yourself, then I fear for you.
You can still do that.
Like,
but again, we're talking about it. Like, if we're talking about the commercial aspect of it, if you're looking at that part of it, well, you better adapt, man.
Yeah, because if I could tell you, Zakane, I don't know how many times I went in the Hobby Lobby and I saw pictures on canvases that were AI generated. They were AI generated and put in Hobby Lobby to sell. So these people are not drawing these images that they're putting on these fake canvases and putting in Hobby Lobby and selling for like $50, by the way. So it's here.
And I want to give my money to real people.
Yeah.
Quentin. I'm here, Quentin. I want you to do this.
Dan Alton.
He's busy. Dan Alton. These people, it takes time in production. If I need something quick, I'm going to make it real quick, and then I will wait on trying to give that artist, money.
Yeah. Dude, Dan Alton, after he did Estelle and Muscles Marinara, he drew up like an image of me with the Macho Man shades playing with a Macho Man action figure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I looked at him and said, "Buddy, thank you." And then I asked him, I said, "I'm going to give you some money because this work is so good. I can't just keep taking it. I feel bad." Like I told him, I was like, "Yo, the image of Estelle is now my thumbnail for the video. I just want you to know that." And I was like, and I put it on a shirt. I was like, "So, the next ones, I got to give you something, man, because I can't just take all this for nothing." Because I asked him, I was like, "Can you do me an image? Can you do me an image of me, Felix, and my wife in like the artwork of like either Popeye or Calvin and Hobbes?"
Yeah.
And dude, he drew up something where it's the three of us in a forest with a bunch of cryptids around us, like the gnome, the voice, all the voices that I do, and all the shit with the jokes from the show are all in this image. And I was just like, "This is fucking fantastic." I said, this is exactly what I want. Thank you so much. So he's in the process of adding colors and stuff to it because there's the thing. He's like, "I love this image. I would like to do watercolors." So he drew it and he's going to and then he's going to scan it and give it to me so I could put it on shirts and stuff. And I said to him, I was like, "Buddy, thank you so much." And he goes, "And if you're going to give me money, I'm going to send you this picture to keep." So,
that's cool.
So to me, it's like that kind of artwork will never go away.
It's never going to go away, man. You see it when you go to you can go to a store. Malls are still apparently a thing. I mean, you see it when you go to a fair. We saw it Terrificon. I mean, how many people had their artwork out. 3D printers. People are like, "I'm going to 3D print this piece of artwork out." I'm like, that's cool. What was that Cookie Monster Godzilla mashup? I thought was badass with like Grover on the tail.
I literally fucking as soon as my brother was like, "Yeah, my son wants a 3D printer," I literally in my mind was like, "All right, I got some things he can 3D print for me."
Action figure accessories, man. Like we talk about going to Hobby Lobby and Michael's and everything, man. Being able to sit there, it's like, oh man, that holiday dinner scene you did for 2024, right? You're like, man, I want turkey, I want plates and everything, but it's scale. Trying to find that stuff in that right scale. Well, now you just go to your 3D printer, like, a replicator on Star Trek and go, make this thing for
Make
me.
this for me, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm about to jump back into the 3D printing game because my buddy has his that he's selling, a resin. So I'm about to jump back into it because I I love the ability to just say, all right, I'm going to make it myself, and just kind of like these small action figure accessories. That's the thing that was the whole reason I wanted a fucking 3D printer, but
Yeah.
I didn't respect it enough. I'd be the first person to tell you. Like that is an art form that you better respect because that printer itself has to be taken care of correctly, whether it's temperature,
Oh yeah.
being level, and I didn't respect none of that shit. Like I was talking to Nico Tronis,
Yep.
and he's like, well, where did you have it? And I said, oh, it's by the window. He goes, don't do that.
The temperature changes
The
from the
temperature
window.
change fucks it up. And I was like, it was on a table where I had to like level it right. He goes, yep, that'll fuck it up immediately. And then he said something else that I did wrong that I had fucked. I was like, oh, I didn't take the time
Well,
to
do you
learn it.
want to? That's the other thing, right? Because
That
everything we
first time
talked
I
about in
did
all
it.
these aspects
That
is
first
like,
time I didn't, but now the second time, I'm one of those guys where it's like, I can't, I can't accept the failure. So it's like I will learn it and at least now get a couple things printed and say to myself like, "You figured it out."
who
Very
did you train? Oh, by the way, branding.
yeah.
Who did you trade that first one to? Was that Lukey
uh,
Wartooth?
Loki Wartooth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we was I forgot what live stream we were on, and I was joking. Somebody said they would trade him for a hiss, and I said I'll give it to you right now because I didn't have a hiss at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And Loki hit me up. He's like, "You serious about giving away a printer?" I was like, "It just collects dust, man. I didn't respect this thing enough to have it
Yeah.
and deserve it." And we just talked, and he said, buddy, you send it to me, I'll give you a box of 3D printed stuff. And I was like, all right. I was like, and I want one thing personal that I need. And he's like, okay. And he gave it to me, and I gave it to him, and he's been using it ever since. He says it still works, and he uses
Because
it all.
that's what he does.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I'm happy he gets to use it because at least he's using it. It literally I failed so many times that I just sat here and collected dust. I was like, fuck this, man. I don't. It's just taking up space now. So I'd rather.
If you want to talk about that, look at this segue on your own show. You want to talk about like collecting space the enemy of the collector. It's something, whether we don't love it or whatever. I mean, we've had conversations here, 2024, you and me, where I'm like, I've hit that point where I'm like, it's not a space issue anymore for me. For me, though, it's why do I have this thing again?
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
I'm more if I got my whole display in the basement from the the recent move 2024. I'm getting everything lined out. If I don't have a space for it and I don't love it, my O-rings, I'll tell you, like my G.I. Joe O-ring figures.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, they're great. I am never going to set those up. In fact, if I went back into that scale, the Lord scale, quote Chad, it would be those modern ones, the 4-inch ones.
Yeah.
Those are effing cool. And I got a few the Skeletron ones. Like these are badass. But if I don't love it anymore, 2025, man, I'm moving it.
Gone. Yeah.
Let somebody else enjoy it.
Yeah. I said it to my wife. I said I'm going to buy some shelves in the next in a couple weeks that are going to be set up behind me.
Yep.
And whatever doesn't fit on that shelf, I'm goodbye. I'm selling it all.
Game.
I'm getting rid of it. I don't want it no more because I said to her, I'm at a point now where I can pick and choose what I want to keep.
Yep,
100%. Like I want these Ninja Turtles. I want these Marvel. I want this G.I. Joe, and whatever else is out on this. Goodbye. Get rid of it. I don't really fucking need it no more.
Masterverse and Stan.
For the most part, but they've been on my shit list a few times. The last couple figures. The last couple, the articulation kind of sucks. The joints have been a little too stiff. I almost broke Man of War, which I was very disappointed because I really wanted that figure.
That white one?
The white one, yeah. I'm very disappointed in the angle.
I was the same way. It was very disappointing.
Very, very disappointing. So, but even that, bud, like I got how many He-Mans now? How many more do I need?
I'm good.
So I got what I need. So like everything I need, I got. So the shit that
Rio Blast. I want a Masterverse Rio Blast. That's what I want.
I'm sure it's coming at some point.
I hope so, but it's guns, and like our toy industry has been real weird with guns, especially Mattel.
Yeah. With that being said, how long do you think you're going to be collecting? Do you think it's to the end of time, or do you see a shelf life now that we're talking about selling some of this shit off?
Yeah. Well, I mean, shelf life. I like that. I like the pun there. Look, you should do this for a living.
I've tried.
I don't think for me, I think it's just an evolution. It's that, word keeps popping up. It's just, there's this roller coaster of my collecting. Okay. Now it's, jumped off 2021.
Yeah.
Now I'm to the point where I'm, now it's 2025. Now I'm doing a reevaluation and I'm like, okay, I want to keep the stuff that I love and start getting rid of the stuff that I don't need. And then future, like we've been talking about,
Yeah.
I have to see it in my mind. Like when you're talking about that, 100% agree. I need to see it in my mind. I got that Gong Studios Superman action figure.
The Kingdom Come one?
Beautiful figure, and it's the whole Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come, which I've never read. Still 2025, February 2025, still haven't read it. Beautiful artwork.
Yeah.
Right. I know the cover, I know the art. I don't have a spot for it, but I bought it anyway because everyone raved about it. Now, that said, it's an amazing figure. I love that I've got it. Wired the cape. I'll talk to you post show about that, by the way.
Okay.
But I need to have a scene. I'm not buying anything that I don't have something that I want set up for my display.
Yeah. I agree.
That's how things are going to change.
Well, there's the funny
I'll
thing
keep collecting. I don't think there's a timeline on it.
Here's the funny. I was just looking at that figure on 5K Toys yesterday. That Superman, and I said, you know what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about selling off the Mayfix Superman I have. And same time goes, oh, you'll regret that. That's the Superman. I looked at him, I was like, yeah, but that's my Superman. That's how I think. I was like, if I'm going to buy this 5K one because I like the Alex Ross art, I love that Kingdom Come story. I said that'd be the Superman. That would be my Superman. So this Hush Superman that everybody loves, I'd sell that to somebody else. That's going to be their Superman because I'm very disappointed with Mayfix. Very disappointed, especially with that one because that was supposed to be my Superman, and his arm is loosey goosey. It's not how it was, and that's what really pisses me off because Jeff gave me a Homelander figure, and that figure is fantastic. So why is Homelander fantastic? And don't tell me it's a knockoff because I got it from BBTS.
Yep.
So I didn't get it from some weird AliExpress or some dumb fucking website. I got it directly from a fucking distributor of Mayfix, and it was a Mayfix figure, and it was still shit. And then to talk to Jerk and him to say, well, that's going to happen with Mayfix. And I'm like, you're right. It is, but it's unacceptable because it's $100 figure. And that when it comes to that figure behind you, the only reason I was considering purchasing it is because you got it and you said it's awesome. Rowkeeper got it. He said it's awesome. And I think Woody has it. And he said it was awesome. Or somebody else.
Everyone I talked to, Laser Pants.
Yeah, they all put it over. So to me, it's worth the money because now multiple people have said it's awesome.
Here's the problem. That scale on that Superman is like an SH Figure Arts scale. It's small scale. That's not going to work in with the rest of your Mayfix, man, unless you're doing a shot and you're doing some
perspective.
Perspective. So no, scale wise, man. I mean, oh my God, McFarlane. I mean, like anything really towers over.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
But so it comes down to scale, and that was another thing I knew was going to happen with it. And I've got a couple of different SH Figure Arts DC.
Yeah.
So again, I'm justifying shit in my mind.
I've
got a Harley Quinn. Where am I going to have a display where I've got Superman and Harley Quinn? I can create something, but I'm really shoehorning stuff in.
Yeah. I am going to consider getting that. I don't know what the fuck it was. That shit you spray in joints and it tightens it up.
I was just looking at that. I was going to about to shout out to Mikey, JMK Custom Works again. I was going to go, hey, is this a good thing? What is this thing?
A lot of people put it over, so I'm going to probably get it because I have to get it for that stupid wolf that doesn't want to stand.
Yep.
So I appreciate you hanging out with me. By the way, we're coming to a little over an hour. Told you I had it hard out because I got to make some meatloaf.
Now everyone can understand. All right, you cannot fuck around with meatloaf, man.
I do want to thank you, in like I said, in more ways than one for just not only joining this, but like I said, meeting me and my lovely wife at Terrificon, and just being so fucking friendly, being so awesome, and throughout this whole shit, moderating my streams, bud. You have no idea what that means. I really greatly appreciate it. And if I could tell you one thing, bud, I'm very happy to see that you did decide to stream, that you did decide to kind of show your personality, because you're an awesome cat, brother. And to see you on Mega Powers, 3POA, Chad, slowly growing with Figure It Out. There's nobody better than the three of you that are more deserving than the success that's starting to kind of happen with your channels. So I'm very happy to see that it's happening for you guys. That being said, I definitely want you to come back on the show when we have like time.
But you know it. We've done this before. We'll talk for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, hours, dude. So I have to get ready for the pre-roll. Yep. I have to shoot something and I have to make meatloaf. So it's like ridiculous. It's like not enough time in a day, but I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you, everybody who joined. You can find Zakanin over at his channel at Zakanin. Same with his Instagram. It's Zakanin. I'll have it all linked in the description below. You can catch Figure It Out. It rotates on his channel, JMK Custom Works channel, and Just Jeff's channel. You will catch him usually, but not always, on Monday nights on the Mega Powers Monday Night Raw show, and now and again on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. over on 3POA, as well as Chad, although I see Chad move to Sundays. I don't see Chad really on Wednesdays that much anymore.
Actually, he was on doing while we're doing this.
Yeah. So he's on Sundays now, so you can catch. I'm sure you'll be on Chad's
Figure Fight Club. I've been on.
Yeah.
Figure
and
Fight
of course,
Club.
don't forget Abby's Figure Fight Club. You're on that a lot as well, and the open mics. So there's a lot of places you can find this young man. So just
maybe too much, maybe oversaturation. That'll be our next topic.
Yeah. But that being said, let's not oversaturate talking figures. That is Zakanin. I am Tony. This has been Talking Figures. Until next time, keep playing, everybody.